Greetings from the Arcturians and Arcturian 144 here. Just looking at the news because I kind of missed a certain meeting at the White House, but then I got to know about it and now I'm looking into it. Though it's just happened, so it hasn't been long. So I'm looking at the news headlines here. Trump hosts Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir at the White House. Trump says honored to meet Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir. Really? What's so honorable about meeting the Pakistani Army Chief when he is the main person, him and of course whoever else in the Pakistani Army and Pakistani intelligence, ISI, the top generals, etc. But he is the main person, and of course the current Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif as well, who have the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, in prison. They threw him in prison and he's still rotting in there. And I remember asking for help for Imran Khan here on my channel, going back a bit, maybe last year or so. And I remember asking for help from a few world leaders, but I also remember asking for help for Imran Khan from President Trump as well. Okay, he wasn't president at the time, but still, he still had enough influence on the situation that he could do something about it. And I asked him to make a phone call to Pakistan, to Pakistani government, to Pakistani Prime Minister, to the Pakistani Army Chief, the people who are involved behind throwing Imran Khan in prison for 14 years. That's like a life sentence, isn't it? On false charges, on fake charges, and 100 or over 100 fake charges against Imran Khan. None of them are true. And why? Because Imran Khan was supposed to become the Prime Minister of Pakistan again. And they didn't even let him run the elections because they threw him into jail. They threw him into prison, I think only a week before the elections last year in 2024. So they didn't even let him run the elections because they knew that he will win the elections again this time. And so I asked a few world leaders, and I was asking a few world leaders, I think last year, here on my channel, to help Imran Khan, to get him out of jail, to get him out of prison, to make that phone call to the Pakistani Prime Minister, to the Pakistani Army Chief, and get him out of prison. But nobody heard me, right? Nobody listened to me, right? And nobody helped me with that. And now I see this. I have to witness this. I asked Trump for help as well. I asked Trump to make that phone call to Pakistan as well, to get Imran Khan out of prison. And I told him that Imran Khan is a fellow Arcturian as well. So help him. Help get him out of prison. But no, I guess that was fallen on deaf ears too. My cry for help for Imran Khan was fallen on deaf ears too. And now I see Trump hosting the Pakistani army chief in the White House and saying that he's honored to meet the Pakistani army chief. There's nothing honorable about that man. Because he is one of the main people, or he is the main person who had Imran Khan thrown into prison last year and sentenced for 14 years. That's a life sentence. How would you like to be thrown into prison for 14 years for a life sentence, President Trump? How would you like it if that happened to you? Wouldn't you want someone to help you? But no, you wouldn't help Imran Khan. No, you rather have, a meeting with the Pakistani army chief, a man with no honor in my eyes and in God's eyes and in the eyes of the Arcturians, our star family. And as I said, Imran Khan is an Arcturian too. And he was supposed to become the Prime Minister of Pakistan again last year. But he wasn't even allowed to run the elections. He was thrown into prison a week before the elections. Exactly. So he doesn't run in the Pakistani general elections because they knew he will win again. And they didn't want that. We know how, the politics are in Pakistan and how the Pakistani army is involved in the politics and in the government affairs in Pakistan. And how they run things there in Pakistan with an iron fist, especially when it comes to the Pakistani army and Pakistani army chiefs. So since you hosted the Pakistani army chief in the White House, for whatever reason, I'm sure it's something that benefits you and Pakistan and Pakistani army chief. So, you will host him in the White House. You will go that far to get what you want, President Trump, right? But you won't ask him to let Imran Khan out of prison, drop all the false, fake charges against him and let him out of prison. You won't ask him to do that, right? Now that you have his ear, President Trump? Will you still not help Imran Khan, a fellow Arcturian? Will you still not get him out of prison? Will you still not ask the Pakistani army chief to drop all false, fake charges against Imran Khan and let him out of prison? You still won't help him, would you? You still won't help Imran Khan, would you? Because, what are you going to get out of it? Because things are always transactional with you. So unless you are getting something out of something, you won't move a finger. Why are you that transactional? Why are you that selfish to the extreme like that? That you won't even help anyone unless you are getting something out of it. I'm asking you again now that you are president and you have the power and influence over Pakistani government and Pakistani army chief. And since you've just met him in the White House and you've just, had a chat with him face to face, whatever, and you have his ear right now, please help Imran Khan get out of prison Ask the Pakistani army chief to drop all false fake charges against him and let him out of prison as soon as possible. Now, let's move on to the Indian Prime Minister Modi, because the Arcturians are asking me to bring him up as well, and how he wanted to meet you as well as President Zelensky at the G7 summit that just happened in Canada a few days back. And you didn't meet Prime Minister Modi either. Like, there was a few world leaders other than the G7 leaders who went to the G7 summit because they were supposed to meet you as well. But you ran away earlier than you were supposed to. You left earlier than you were supposed to on purpose, because obviously you didn't want to meet President Zelensky. You didn't want to meet Prime Minister Modi. You didn't want to meet any of the others. You didn't want to meet the Mexican President Claudia, etc. You should have stayed back and talked to all of them and negotiated with all of them, and you should have heard their concerns regarding their issues with you. And I suppose it's to do with the, trade war, tariff war that you're having with the world right now, which there was no need for, which there is no need for. So you should have stayed back and heard them all out. Now, just to remind you, help Imran Khan. Please. You are in that position right now, being the President of the United States. You can help Imran Khan. You can help get Imran Khan out of prison. So please help him as soon as possible. And I'm going to leave this message here. Over and out.